Hey guys, here we are. We're going to go into like a little film study on punch technique. And it's just kind of in response to Conor McGregor calling Mayweather a brittle-fisted bitch. And I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. And I wasn't going to bring it up. You know, it's not like a big deal for their fight in particular. But it's really interesting because of the parallels that it has with boxing in, I'll say, like the United States. And their amateur system, the way that amateurs are taught to throw punches, or they learn to throw punches for speed, and the way that foreign fighters throw punches. You know, if anybody followed Mayweather's career when he was younger, that beating that he put on Arturo Gatti, I've never seen a beating like that before. That was just the most magnificent display of boxing I've ever seen, and his fight against Corrales as well, just masterful, like a great job. And for the most part, like a lot of it, he didn't even have to use a lot of like really high level techniques. He just dominated those fighters. You know, he did against Gatti, but that's neither here nor there. What we want to talk about is the reason Mayweather has so many hand problems and why that is important. So first, we're going to show Gennady Golovkin fighting, and we're going to show like a highlight of him fighting Lemieux and analyze his punch technique and why he never has hand problems. And I don't think anyone in the world would ever say that Gennady Golovkin is not a bigger puncher than Mayweather. Regardless of how dominant Mayweather was in his younger career, he's just not as big of a puncher as Gennady Golovkin. But Gennady Golovkin doesn't have hand issues. You know, and a lot of people might sum that up as, oh, hand wraps, or the way they wrap their hands, or it's the kind of gloves, or it's the, you know, but it's not, you guys. It's not. And the evidence for that is, I'm not sure if you guys, you know, obviously everyone knows who the fuck Canelo Alvarez is, but I'm in the process of doing a film study between, well, let me just fucking start playing this video. I'm fucking droning on and shit. But I'm in the process of doing a film study of Golovkin versus Canelo. And I was talking a lot about how I thought that the film study wound up being flawed because Canelo wound up hurting his hand, like in the second round of the fight. And that I'd have to do another one so that I could more accurately represent how Canelo was going to fight Golovkin, right? But then after doing a little bit of tape, and I've seen the Danny Jacobs fight like a fucking 100 times. I did a film study on that before, and I thought it was a shitty film study. Everyone kind of seemed to like it, but there was just so much stuff to try and jam pack in there, and you know, try not to get the video too long. And I've kind of given up on a little bit of that. But the way that Canelo throws his punches, and we'll go over this in the video, it models the same way that Mayweather throws his punches, and I'm going to show you why he has so many hand problems. So anyway, this is the first punch I really want to talk about. So Gennady Golovkin telegraphs that he's about to throw a hook, and they say you're never supposed to hook with a hooker in the literal boxing sense, but as David Lemieux has a great left hook, but Golovkin is a huge puncher. And I want to talk about, like, look at how flush this is landing against David Lemieux's head. Boom. And look at the follow through, right? A beautiful punch, and it lands square on his head, right? Whoops. Let's go back one more time. One more time. So he throws it, and if you're looking at the connect part so the landing knuckles, you know, a lot of people in boxing, if you watch a lot of videos, especially people who are telling new fighters how to throw punches, and fuck, I hate these videos. I wish I could flag them all for being fucking morons. But they tell people to land with your index finger and your middle finger as your landing knuckle. But your landing knuckles are your pinky and your ring finger. Those are the knuckles you really want to be landing with. Now, a way to demonstrate the point that I want to make is if you make a fist, right? Make a fist and have somebody come by, right? Have one of your friends come by and put your arm on the table, and then have them put all of their weight on those two knuckles, on the index finger and the middle finger, right? And look at how wobbly your wrist is, right? Just have them put a little bit of weight and pull it back, you know, pull it one direction or the other, and then have them do the same thing on your your ring finger and your index finger, and it doesn't go anywhere because all of those muscles go directly into your arm, right? And that's where you want to be landing, so that there's no give in the punch, right? And you can drive through, right? You're not going to hit them and then have a lot of give in your hand, so that there's no power in the punch, so that you don't get to use any of your muscle, right? And this is what Golovkin's achieving right here. His forearm is straight. He connects perfectly onto his head and then follows through with the punch, right? Brilliant punch technique. Nobody throws a punch quite like Gennady Golovkin. And then right after that, he comes in, gives him a jab, right? Another jab. And look at how he throws this right hand. Look how it's cocked. Look how his hip is turned. And look at how his elbow is crashing down, right? Like his elbow is flared out so that he can get his forearm into a position to where he can get his knuckles flush with David Lemieux's head, right? And you see it like just bounce off of his head. Just brilliant as he follows through. Boom, right? Huge punch. Beautiful punch technique from Mr. Golovkin. Again, throwing the right hand. And that one kind of goes over his head. That is a shitty left hook, to be honest. That's not exactly where you want it to be landing. But the interesting part about it, even though it's like a shitty left hook, the way that he follows through with it, actually, it kind of looks like it stretches his elbow. But anyway, we'll show a couple more punches of Mr. Golovkin's punches, if we can find some good ones. I mean, you guys probably get it. You're smart. You're not fucking blind. Boom, good left hook right there. Landing with the knuckles. Come on, video. Why you gotta fuck with me like this? Oh, and this is off of a highlight video from Jeff Jackson. The guy makes great highlight videos. I've used a number of them for these things. Check that guy's channel out if you guys like that kind of stuff. I always, when I was a kid and I was watching boxing, I didn't watch a lot of straight fights. I just watched a lot of highlight videos, and they kind of, I was just, I'll just be exactly like that guy. Now here you go, slow-mo of that. Boom. Brilliant. Look at fucking Lemieux's face, man. That poor guy. Oh, I don't know if you guys know this, by the way, but this is fucking brilliant. When I was a kid and I used to watch and I was learning how to box and I would watch video tutorials, I remember seeing this guy giving video tips, and he had like some Canadian like national champion, and he was like training him, and he was given like he was making video demonstrations of boxing technique and talking about the proper way to do this, the proper way to do that, how to get power in your punches, how to do all this shit. And go like 10 years into the future, and I see David Lemieux, and I remember this kid's name was David, and I see David Lemieux, and I see his trainer. It was in the first fight that he lost, actually. I thought that he still could have won the fight. His trainer kind of, I don't know if he threw in the towel early. He knows David Lemieux better than we do, but it was the same fucking coach. And I went back and I watched those training videos, and you guys can actually look at David Lemieux as a fucking 12-year-old, like Canadian national champion or Canadian Golden Glove champion or whatever, giving boxing demonstrations on proper punch technique and this and that. And looking at those videos, you can see, hey, this is what you can accomplish with these kind of tips, right? And he tells you, it's not like all encompassing, right? But it's really interesting, and I would definitely recommend checking him out. He's kind of I don't want to say he's a dick to him, but he's very stern with David in the videos, But anyway, getting back to this, a couple more punches. I want to kind of see some right hands, but the left hook is really important. Nah, that's not a clean punch. It gets caught in the glove. Boom. So this right hand to the body, I want to check that out. So when he throws it, you can see his elbow is flared, right? He's not slamming it into it. His arm isn't straight. His shoulder is picked up. And look at where the knuckles are landing on David Lemieux's body. And that'll be important later on in the fight. Boom. Nope, missing that one. Some highlight, Jeff Jackson. Come on, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Good work. This left hook to the body. So that's not a real punch. But look at this. Look at how wide it comes. And it's interesting that people, like, they give him so much shit for his wide punches, and some of them are wide, but it allows him to land with the knuckles, right? And you can really get the sense that that lands with the knuckles, although it's not clear. We'll kind of go back and look at that. I think the round ends right here. Okay, this is a good example of a right hand. So he comes in, right? Looks wide, but look at how he's landing with the knuckles, right? He's not slapping. His arm isn't straight. It is wide, right? It's not like a straight punch, right? And that's what, like, so many people think you're supposed to be throwing all the time, a straight punch. Get it there quick. Get it there fast. The most important part is actually that you land with the fucking knuckles. Oh. Here we go. This is the body shot. So it comes in, he turns it. Actually, it's not even that good. You know, kind of lands on the inside. And that's exactly what fucking huge power punch, but man, I'm not doing a very good job with this film study so far. To be honest, I just expected it to be really good. I didn't even preview the video at all. I was just like, Gennady Golovkin, that motherfucker knows how to throw a punch. But anyway, you guys get the point, right? So we're going to move on to the next video, which is going to be Floyd Mayweather versus Andre Brittle. Whoops, we don't want to be that far in. So right away, and we're gonna talk about, so right away, look at Mayweather's, when he throws this hook, look at where his elbow is, right? And look at how he's going to be landing on Andre Brittle's head. He's going to be hitting him with the inside of the glove, which is going to cause him to be hitting with the fingers and be hitting with the thumb, right? The thumb doesn't cover the fingers in a boxing glove. It goes on the outside of the hand, right? But look at how he's not flaring his elbow. He's not turning the hook over. He's kind of slapping on it, right? And using it, you know, basically to kind of create space, you know, so he can get off the ropes. Then this hook right here, fast as hell, right? But look at how it lands with the inside of the glove, right? You see it come off of Andre Brittle's head. Not even a lot of power, right? He's not doing himself any favors. But he develops this kinds of technique because the amateur system is such fucking garbage. It's awful. It's point system based. It doesn't matter if you hurt your opponent. You don't get any points for landing hard shots. It doesn't matter at all. The only thing you get points for are landing punches, right? Again, Mayweather sweeping with the hook, right? Doesn't get his hips into it, even though he jumps into it. Now, when he throws this right hand, he crashes it down onto Brittle's head. Like, let's take a look at that in real time first. So the hook, but look at how he crashes it down on his head, and it's going to be landing with the inside of the glove, right? Not with the knuckles, but it's landing on the inside of the glove, and you're going to be hitting parts of your fingers. You're going to be hitting parts of your thumb, right? And you're going to be hurting your wrists because you're slamming it into them. It's not a punch anymore. I don't want to say it's a slap, right? I'm still not going to let fucking Floyd Mayweather hit me with that shit. It's still going to fucking hurt, right? But for all intents and purposes, you can call it a slap. But it's also one of the reasons why he has so many hand problems. And I chose this video and not the Corrales fight or the Arturo Gatti fight because Mayweather talks about possibly having broken both of his hands in this fight. And so we're going to look at these punches that he's throwing and kind of look at why, you know. And also the Gatti and the Corrales fight, they're so long ago that the quality is just fucking horse shit. And I don't want to watch that shit. I don't want to make you guys watch it either. So there's a pull counter. It's a good landed shot from Mayweather. Again, that same hook, same right hand, and look at how that right hand lands against Brittle's head. Brittle's fucking huge ass head on the side of his glove, right? And that's going to cause him a lot of problems. Like, yeah, it's going to get there quicker and shorter, but when you're throwing punches and you're going around the guard, you can't just expect to have the same kind of speed and the same kind of time because your punching angle should be different. You know, the way that you land the punch. Notice that his forearm isn't flat when he lands, right? It's not getting flat against his head or in any way, shape, or form, and there's no power into it. Again, you don't want to let someone hit you like 8 times with that shot, but, you know, now the pull counter. And notice how it kind of bounces off of his head instead of crashing into his head, not landing with the punching knuckles, right? And that one might be forgivable, right? You might say, oh, it's just because they're moving fast and this and that, which is true. It's definitely true. There's a lot of room for error and that kind of stuff. But if he was bringing it down and using his forearm to get it straight, he would be driving through the punch, and it wouldn't have nearly as much bounce, right? Because you would just be going straight through it. But we can forgive him for that one. We have so many other examples. It's not even pertinent that it doesn't even matter. Let's see that right hand. Was that any good? It's not bad. That one's not bad. How did this one land? This body shot. Kind of okay. Not really. Looks like it lands with the inside of the glove. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, it's a decent one. As you can see, it kind of lands not with the knuckle part of the glove, though. It lands with kind of with the inside of the glove. But that might also just be a factor of it having bounced off of Brittle's glove. This is interesting, too. So here with this pull counter, right, beautifully executed. When he throws it, look at the angle on his... We know where he's aiming, right? Brittle's head, right? Not his chin for some reason, but his head. But look at the angle on his forearm. Look at how it's coming out, and it just goes straight into Brittle's head, right? He's pushing his arm out into Brittle's head rather than driving his forearm, right, into it, right? He has the angle, and he could just dip it down a little bit to swing his knuckles into his head, right? But instead, he just kind of throws his hand into Brittle's face, and just pushes it straight through. Gets the landed shot, controls his head, but not a super clean shot. And then that left hook right there again, right? Slapping. If he hits the side of Brittle's head, he's going to be doing more damage to his hand than Brittle's head, obviously, because Brittle didn't complain about having a broken skull. Mayweather complained about having 2 broken hands, though. So right here, Mayweather slapping with the left hook, bouncing it off of his head, and then swinging. And that's not the worst right hand. Obviously, he's not in good position. He's kind of audibling these punches, but he's swinging his arms, and he's not making sure that his forearm is flush with his knuckles when he's landing. Anyway, you guys probably get it, right? Oh, man. By the way, this was my fucking favorite move of Floyd Mayweather. Like, early in his career, before people really started, like, watching his film study, and people would they'd just be trying to fight him, and then all of a sudden he would just, like, dip under a fake shot or whatever, and then come inside with... And, man, Mayweather was such an amazing inside fighter. Moving up in weight, fighting bigger guys, looking for the bigger paydays, and, coupled with that, with hurting his hands, kind of changed Mayweather. Mayweather was very likely, like, could have been, like, the greatest 140-pound fighter ever, right? I guess, if you think about it, yeah, you're going to move out of the 140-pound division, so instead of being the best 140-pound fighter of all time, you get to be the best fighter of all time. But it would be like the fighter that fought Gatti and the fighter that fought Corrales. I don't know, like, who could have ever beat that Mayweather. Superior boxing tactics aside, having better punch setup or whatever, like, he was just brilliant, and he was so far ahead of his time. Boxing was in a weird state, and anyway, we're not talking about that. But as you can see, Mayweather doesn't have great punch technique when he throws his punches. Let's look at that right hand to the body. So he throws it, kind of whips it. That one's not so bad. That's not bad. Kind of like a right hook to the body. What about that second one to the right? Boom. Whew, great body work, man. Slams it into him. That's not bad. That's not that bad. That's definitely not one of those... Oh, God, that fucking great uppercut. Controls his head after. And now this right hand, not that one, but this one, how he slams it onto Brittle's side, probably not the greatest punch. Boom. doesn't turn the punch over, doesn't direct his knuckles into his head, leading with the forearm, not leading with the forearm, but changing the angle on the forearm so that he gets the follow through, or like the, I don't know how to say it, but the stiffness in the punch, you know. But anyway, this is why Mayweather has so many hand problems. Like, he's fast, right? He explodes out of his guard right there, slams a left hook into Brittle's head, you know. Not a lot of power, right? Scoring blow, you're gonna be like, oh man, what the hell was that? You know, it's gonna throw you off guard, but you know, not the greatest punch. And now we're gonna take a look at Canelo Alvarez, and I'm so sorry, I just stole this highlight from YouTube too. It was better quality than the other one, but the reason that this is important is because Canelo hurts his hand in this fight. He breaks his hand, and Mayweather breaks his hands almost every fight, right? And the reason that this is important, why I'm bringing it up in conjunction with Canelo, is because so much of Canelo's craft is modeled off of Floyd Mayweather. He kind of tries so hard to be Floyd Mayweather, throws punches like Floyd Mayweather, tries the Philly shell kind of shit like Floyd Mayweather, lays on the ropes and waits for his opponents to open up on him like Floyd Mayweather. He just does everything, and even down to throwing punches like Floyd Mayweather. Now look at how he slams this right hand into Liam Smith's body, right? It's not a punch, right? He's just slamming it into his body. But remember, the thumb, although it's not across the knuckles, it's on the side. It's not protected, right? Your palm is basically like right there, and you can hit your palm, you can dislocate it by slamming it into somebody, you know, especially with somebody as strong as Canelo Alvarez. But not having proper punch technique and punching like this is going to cause Canelo a lot of problems. And as you saw, like I think in one of the press conferences for the Canelo Golovkin fight, Canelo had a really, really bruised up hand, and that's because he throws punches like Floyd Mayweather. Again, so let's see if we can find some more examples. That left hook right there looks pretty crappy. Yep, slamming it into the side of his head. It's not a super clear view. I apologize. Slamming right there. Horrible punch technique. Lands with the inside of the glove. Because he's not punching also, it's hitting Liam Smith's arm because he's slamming it into him. And that's probably what hurt his thumb, right? Punches like that. And the reason that I'm deciding that I'm not going to change the film study for... And if you want to check that out, you guys, it's a film study of him fighting Liam Smith and how he sets up his offense and taking looks at his defense, doing some mild comparisons about how that's going to translate to fighting Golovkin with Golovkin's discernible skills. And the reason I'm not going to change that is when Golovkin's not probing, and Golovkin's not looking to make you lead, right? When he's not feinting, when he's not probing with his jab, when he's kind of taking a rest and letting you throw punches at him, Gennady Golovkin allows his opponents to throw punches at him, and he gets in a very similar guard as Liam Smith. And if Canelo tries to take advantage of that guard in the same way that he does against Liam Smith by throwing punches like this to the body, come on, you piece of shit. I love you, VLC, but sometimes you get on my nerves a little bit. Come on, you gonna play this shit or what? Aw, man, Illuminati. Here we go. Nope. Okay, I don't know how far it went forward, but right there. If he's gonna take advantage of Golovkin's guard like that in the same way, Canelo's not going to do anything but hurt his own hand again. And he's going to wind up having the same problem that he had against Liam Smith against Canelo, or against Gennady Golovkin. And I anticipate that being a very similar problem. I do anticipate that being something that happens. Slamming his right hand into his head. Not the worst right there. Good uppercut right there. And then going back to that same body shot. Slamming the body shot. Boom. And that's going to cause him a lot of problems if he continues throwing his punches that way. Again, this right hand to the head. And although he's lighting Liam Smith up, right, look at that. That is the worst punch I've ever seen. No, that's not true. But that's going to hurt. You know, that's going to cause you to mess your hand up, to break your hand. Because those muscles, they don't have... It's basically just... Think about like walking up to a wall or a door and slamming your hand into it. Like you're slapping it, but with a closed fist. You know? You're going to knock someone out with that in the street fight, right? Like, you're just going to do it. Probably you'll knock them out with that hit. But with the glove and against a trained fighter who's used to getting punched in the face, you know, it's not going to have any effectiveness. You know? So, Canelo really needs to work on his punch technique. Because we know he has power. But why isn't he hurting a guy like Liam Smith that he's so easily able to hit? And it's because he doesn't have good punch technique. Again, slapping left hook, scoring blow. You know, it shouldn't be, but it is. He's going to get points for that. Great counter uppercut right there. Let's see. A couple more examples and I'll wrap this up. That left hook right there. Sweeping left hook. The quality on this might be so bad you guys can't even tell either. I love that little dip move. Fuck, that was so beautiful. Boom, boom. Sets up a punch off that. Love it. And then tries to slam his glove into him. Hits his elbow on his hand. Not good. Not good. So anyway, guys, you know, the rest of the film study, oh shit, that was another bad one. Slamming his hand against his head. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous, you guys. It's really important that you land with the correct knuckles so you don't hurt yourself. And you have a tight fist. And you don't try to shortcut your punches just to make sure that they land, you know, like Floyd Mayweather. And in this instance, you know, Canelo Alvarez. But anyway, I just thought it was a really interesting thing to point out. And I'm going to go ahead and go do, so I expect, so I already did a breakdown of Canelo, or of Golovkin versus Danny Jacobs. I wouldn't mind redoing it, you know, doing the first like 4 rounds or 5 rounds of that fight. And talking about how it translates to Canelo Alvarez rather than just Danny Jacobs' plan and strategy. Because I do anticipate Canelo trying to use a very, 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 very similar style to beat Golovkin, since he keeps saying that Danny Jacobs beat him. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. I didn't mean for this video to be 30 fucking minutes long. Sorry, guys. Later.